just soften my music a little bit. So today we're going to take it sort of slow, not a lot of up and down flows, but we're going to go a little bit slower in some of the poses and hold them. As you may have seen in the note that I sent over this morning, we're going to concentrate on 2 or 3 poses that are considered inversions. And inversions have a lot of positive health benefits. Number one for me, I tend to really like them because when you reverse the direction of the body and the spine, all of that compression that typically builds up in the neck, wherever it might build up for you, neck, a lot of lower back can be compressed, because as you know, the back is a curve, and wherever those curves really start to stack and change direction, you can get extra compression. And if you have any low back issues, any neck issues, as I do, then you know immediately that there's nothing better than finding relief for that. So decompression can often mean just turning the different direction of the body so that gravity, helps release the effects that we normally feel all day long. You've seen those inversion tables. I don't have one of those and I've never used one, but a lot of times those inversion tables are exactly for that purpose. These poses can also stimulate the endocrine system, which then helps boost your immunity. So the more that you can get these internal organs stimulated and release the fluids and so forth and move them around the body, the more you're cleansing the body and create a better immune system. So who doesn't want that today, right? And then, just from a more emotional, psychological level, it's good to kind of flip things around and have your view coming from a different direction. And when you're in an inversion, whether you're upside down in a forward fold or even in a down dog and you may be glancing the other direction, it just helps to realize everything is still in its place, but there is a different way to look at our world. So a little bit more of an ethereal idea there, but it's nice to bring that in. So we're not going to do a whole lot of them, but I did just want to bring your attention to the inversions that we do go in, and you can think about those benefits as we go through the practice. So we're going to start today with a supported bridge pose. And if you would take your blanket, or if you have a bolster or a blanket or a large towel that you can put under the pelvis, then we're going to lay back on that and just begin to settle down. So we're just going to lay that right in that flat part of the lower spine. We call that the sacral area. That sacrum is that triangular shaped bone. It's not really that big, but it's a triangular shaped bone at the end of the spine, and it's nice and flat. And on either side and all around that sacrum, there are actually joints. They're non-moving joints, but they are places where the bones fuse together. And these joints, these places where the bones become one, can also slightly shift. We call them unmoving, but they can slightly shift and feel compression as well. So when we're lying in a supported bridge pose, we're taking some of that pressure off of the lower back and allowing that sacrum area to just become nice and flat. So with this opening posture, you can keep the knees bent as I have them here. If you want to play with releasing one or both legs down, you can feel free to extend the legs down the mat. And this may create too much of sensation in the pelvic area. So if that's a little too much, especially to start the practice, you can always keep those knees bent. So just starting in this posture, let's go ahead and take a few moments and just arrive in your practice. Just take this time right in the middle of your weekend to take these breaths, slow down, refresh, renew, and arrive inside your own body. Feel that breath coming in through the nose, coming all the way down into the belly, releasing back out the same way. And softening the lower back down by just releasing any energy that you feel. This is a restorative version of bridge pose, so we really want to restore by letting go of any muscular engagement. Take a moment and just listen to what's around you. Allowing the eyes to close. Maybe you hear the beating of your own heart. Maybe you hear that soft whoosh of air as it comes in through the nose. Breathing in and out. Allow your shoulders to just fall softly to the mat. Collarbones are open and wide. Throat is unconstricted. Jaw is soft. Bring your gaze into your third eye, that little space between the brow and deep inside the head. Send your breath to that inner space, that third eye, which is the seat of your intuition. That place that allows you to see with clear vision the truth about yourself and feel your honest presence here in your practice. Let's go ahead and take 3 more soft but deep breaths. Not rushing our practice today. We're going to slow down and enjoy what's here. Last breath, and then as you exhale on this breath, bring your awareness to the soles of your feet. You can press down through the feet and push that blanket or bolster off to the side and release all the way down. Flattening here for a moment. Feeling that sensation of the lower spine. Now respond to the pressure on the mat. Nice deep breath here once again. Paying attention to all the little sensations along the way helps you deepen your practice and go within. Let's go ahead and draw the knees in, wrap your hands around the knees and hug your knees into your chest. Maybe it feels good to rock back and forth, stimulating the lower back, the internal organs as you rock. Nice, gentle, easy breaths. And then from here, you're going to roll to one side or the other and come up to a seated position. All right, we're going to set up in a little bit of a wide leg forward fold. So, wide leg can be whatever it means to you. We haven't really stretched too much of the legs yet, so make it as comfortable as you can. We're going to bring that blanket back into play. If you have blocks or some sort of supports you're using for blocks, I would suggest putting those in the front, maybe about arm's distance away. And then we're going to take that blanket once again and fold it and just lay it over the top of the blankets. We're going to be doing a wide leg forward fold. And what I'd like for you to do is just kind of ease your way into it until you have a place where your head can rest down comfortably. So that's going to differ depending on your body and how you're feeling this morning. So if you have blocks, they can be fairly low, they can be higher, or they can be higher still. So just find that place where your head's going to be able to release down. So sitting up tall to begin, just kind of bring the crown of the head up. Reach and extend. See if you can open those spaces between the vertebrae. And then we're going to just slowly and gently roll forward. We're not trying to keep that real flat back this time, but we're going to allow the forehead to come down. And again, just find your sweet spot here wherever you feel that the head and neck can release. So when you're in that releasing position, I'm going to talk sitting up because you can't hear me behind the blanket. When you're in that released position with the head, and again, feel free to build something up as tall as you need it. It may even be 2 very tall blocks, okay? That's perfectly fine too. Yeah, try to bring that space, try to bring that support up to your head. So that when you're in that position, or whatever variation you have of this, you can release the neck forward in a comfortable manner so that you're getting that nice little neck stretch without any muscular engagement. So that's the key. This is a restorative practice we're doing right here. So the legs are nice and soft. We're not trying to muscle our way into this. We're trying to ease down. And you'll just feel that cervical spine begin to release down. You might even, if the hands need to come up, you can also bring the hands up to the top of the supports, stack your fists, and then gain even a little bit more height. I just want your forehead, your third eye, to be able to rest on the support in whatever variation and version you've found for yourself here. Now come back to your breath. Breathe in and feel that breath coming up through the back, up and around and over the head. And then as you exhale, release it down and imagine that breath going down through the heart center. Inhale, draw the breath up over the back, Coming back over the neck, circling around the crown of the head, and then releasing back down. So bring in this visualization for your breath. Feel that breath's healing powers as you help the spine begin to open up. Again, no engagement here. Try to make the body as soft as possible. Your head's pretty heavy, so that's plenty of leverage on the neck, which is why I want a nice support for it here. And this isn't an inversion necessarily, but it is kind of a nice opening posture to move into some of these inversions. So keep up that visualization of the breath. See if you can notice where there's any sensations arising. Provided those sensations are not painful, just take note of them. Breathe into it if you feel that you can help release and soften. And just notice that many times those sensations are arising in the areas where we are holding tension, and what you're feeling is the tension releasing. So we're going to take about 4 more breaths like this. Keep up that circular pattern of the breath. One more breath here. And then slowly, slowly begin to straighten the back, rising up through the head, coming into a neutral spine once again. Take your hands and just bring them back behind the hips. So we're going to place the palms just right behind the shoulders and the hips, and then just gently lift up through the heart. We're not doing anything too extreme here, but we're just giving ourselves a little lift through the heart to counterpose that folded version. And then come back up to neutral, lean forward. Once again, lean back, press down into the palms, lift up the heart, open up the shoulders. Little bitty baby camel here. And then come back up. We're going to swing the legs around now in front and extend the legs down the mat. Take one of your blocks, if you have those handy, place it in between the ankles, just to set your legs up in the correct alignment here. And then I'm going to ask you to bring your strap into play. It can be a strap, scarf, tie, belt, whatever you have. The strap's the easiest thing that you can just use with what we have around the house, so hopefully you have something there. And go ahead and bring that strap around the balls of the feet. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. I actually shot a wedding yesterday, and after 9 hours in a mask, I can tell you it's really difficult to talk and converse all day long with those masks on, but that's what we do today. So, sorry, my voice is a little gravelly today because of it. We're going to bring the elbows into the sides of the body. So, provide yourself this nice structure to begin. Lift up through the crown of the head. Now we're being a little bit more active, raising and elevating through the cervical spine, pressing down through the tailbone. So we've got really nice posture going here. Inhale, and then as you exhale, you can choke up on the strap, maybe one little finger fold, and then draw yourself forward. Now here we are creating that nice flat back in Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. So to do that, we draw the chin and the chest forward. We're not rounding down, but we're drawing the heart forward using the leverage of the strap. With each breath, lift up through the crown. With each out breath, pull yourself a little bit more forward. Now, as you can see, I'm not going way forward. I've just got maybe a 45-degree angle here. But if you think you have more room and you want to try to go a little bit lower, just be very cognizant of the lower back. Breathe into that area and notice any sensations along the way. Keep the elbows nice and tight to the body. We're just using the strap for leverage, so we're not pulling forward with the shoulders. One more breath here. Inhale and then come back up. You can release the strap now. We're going to do one more variation of this position. Taking the left hand, you're going to reach forward and bring it to the outside of the right leg. Now it can be the knee, it can be the shin. If you have the space, it can be down by the foot. Just reach that left arm across and to the outside of that right leg. Then we're going to take the right arm first into a T off the shoulder. Inhale up, draw the crown up toward the ceiling. And as you exhale, decide how much that right arm can come around and back. It may not be very far. You may be able to reach to the back of the mat. I've said this before, I'm a lot tighter on one side than the other, so I can make the twist on this side and it feels just fine. On the other side, you won't see me go as far. I'm a lot tighter on my left side. Just breathe here. Getting a nice little twist, feeling that thoracic spine now get a little bit of tension. Inhale, come back to center. Take a breath here in neutral. All right, switching that around. Now we're going to take the right hand to the outside of the left leg. Or if you wish, it can come down to the ankle or maybe to the outside of the foot. I'm going to leave mine right on the calf. First, bring the left arm to a T off the shoulder, lift up here, and then exhale, beginning your rotation toward the left. Just stop wherever you feel that restriction kick in. Breathe into it. Each exhalation, you can see if there's a little bit more room. Inhale, come back to center, hands back into that neutral position. Go ahead and bend the knees. We can take that block out of the way. We might need them later, so you might keep those near the front of the mat. And let's meet in tabletop, hands and knees position. All right, from our tabletop, I instruct this almost every time because I think table is one of the most overlooked, easy positions. It's just used as a transition or as a setup position, but really it's such a great pose all by itself. So once you're in tabletop, take care to make sure that your wrists, elbows, and shoulders are in alignment and your knees and hips are in alignment, making that square box. Once you've got that box going, draw the navel up, pierce that navel up to the spine. Now we're keeping a flat back, so when I say pierce, I mean do it energetically with the core muscles. Press the crown of the head forward, so energetically press it forward, and at the same time feel as if there's a rope pulling your tailbone the opposite direction. Believe it or not, sometimes I can actually get my back to pop just through this very, very subtle action, and it's because you have more control than you probably realize over these subtle movements. Nice breath here in a neutral but strong tabletop. All right, from here we're going to take the right hand, lift that right hand up, much like we did in that seated position. We're rotating the torso with the hand out. And then exhale, we're going to bring it down and thread it through and underneath the left, coming to rest on the outside of the right shoulder. So your face is pointed toward the left. Your left hand is still providing support here with the palm down. Nice deep breath here, and this is technically our first inversion. So a lot of times you're going to feel sensation of the blood beginning to come higher in the body and up near the head. Breathe into it as you begin to stabilize and feel that nice bit of twist going on in the thoracic spine. Shoulders getting a nice stretch here. Right fingertips are reaching toward the left. One more breath. And then press down into the left palm. Come back up into that neutral tabletop position once again. Don't forget to draw the abs in and up. Hold your nice sturdy table. And then we'll take the left hand, we'll draw the left hand up, rotate the torso toward the left, and then exhale, draw that left hand through and underneath the right, coming back down now on the left shoulder and just behind the left ear. Breathe deeply here. Again, I'm going to ask you this time, sometimes I give you alternate positions with that right hand, but we're going to try to keep that support going for this particular threading the needle. So once again, inversion is technically where the head is lower than the heart. The heart is higher now than your head if it's resting down on that mat. So you're already gaining a little bit of sensation and benefit from this inversion. Nice breath here. And then press down into the right hand, come back up to tabletop. Let's just take a moment and kind of balance the body back out again, creating some little circles here in tabletop. Just shifting your weight from hand to hand and foot to foot, or knee to knee rather, not on the feet, and then circle around the other way. Coming back to tabletop. From here, we're going to go ahead and lower the body down into a prone position. So coming all the way down on the stomach. I'm going to scoot back just a little bit. And go ahead and bring, if this feels okay, bring your head all the way down. And we're going to stretch the arms out behind with the palms facing up. So you can come down on the chin just briefly. I don't want you to turn the head necessarily unless that feels better to you, but I'd like the head to be nice and neutral. So we're just going to do a little bit of Salambhasana, or locust pose. So we're going to inhale from here and just gently lift up with the shoulders and the torso. We're just coming up like a couple of inches off the floor, not very far. Press the shoulders back. Press your fingers toward the back of the mat. Hold for one more breath. And then release down. Now we're going to do the same with the back part of the body. So we're going to inhale, lift the toes and the feet off the mat. Again, mine are just coming up a couple of inches. They don't have to go very far. But I still want the fingers reaching backward energetically toward the back of the mat. It's almost a Superman position, not quite. We don't have our arms out front. Exhale and release down. Now, I'm going to give you a choice. We're going to do that one more time. A choice, you can either raise the front half of your body or the back half, or if you want to try both at once, we'll go ahead and inhale, draw the shoulders and the head up, reach the toes up if you want to, and then if you go into that full position, reach the hands up off the mat as well. Breathe deeply here. Whatever variation you have is fine. You're getting the benefit. And then release it all the way down. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Press up and back and into child's pose, releasing that lower back all the way down. You can come down to the third eye. Point that tailbone down toward the mat and breathe into your lower back. One more breath here. And inhale, rock back up to your tabletop. All right, from tabletop, we're going to stretch the legs just a little bit. So let's go ahead and take the left leg and bring that foot in between the two hands. So we're starting from tabletop here. Just going to go into a low lunge. Starting in table, we have the right knee down. Curl the toes on the right side and just lift that right leg up off of the mat. This is a little easier way to get into a lunge versus swinging the leg forward. But I do, once you're in the lunge, I want you to lift up through the pelvic floor and feel as if your right thigh is reaching up toward the ceiling. Draw the crown forward. Nice deep breath here. Feeling that strength at the right leg. And then lower that knee down. Go ahead and walk the hands a little bit backward. We're just going to stretch out that left leg for just a second. And then come forward again. Bring that left leg back up underneath and set up once again in tabletop. All right, from your tabletop, navel pressing up toward the spine, remember. Bring the right foot forward between the hands. Help it up there any way you need to. And then curl the toes of the left leg and just then we'll gently lift the left leg right off the mat. Engage that pelvic floor. Feel the strength of the core support you when you do that. And press that left thigh up toward the ceiling. Reach the crown of the head forward. And breathe into the length of your spine. Hold one more breath. And then lower down. If you want to, you can stretch that right leg back, getting a little bit of a hamstring stretch on the right. And then come forward again, bring that right foot back up underneath. Once again, set up in your tabletop position. All right, so we're going to curl the toes here and then press back into a downward facing dog, which is our second inversion of the day. And that's down dog. Really worked on the spine a lot, so let the head be neutral. Open up your shoulders and shoulder blades so that it takes any compression off the neck. The neck should feel nice and soft here. Gaze between your 2 feet toward the back of the room. Bring in that different perspective that we talked about.
Nice deep breath here. Just letting the head relax down. One more breath. And then tiptoe the feet. We're going to walk slowly up the mat, coming into just a brief forward fold. Inhale when you arrive, lift the heart, come into Ardha Uttanasana, half lift. Exhale and fold. And then we'll rise all the way to the top, really reaching and stretching through the crown of the head, fingers reaching skyward. Inhale up, exhale, a very slight back bend. Inhale, upward facing hands. Exhale, allow the right arm to come by the right side. Left arm, inhale up, exhale into a standing crescent. Feeling now that other direction of the spine opening on the side. So we're reaching over toward the right. Arm is directly over the ear, pressing down through the outer left ankle. Inhale, both arms come up. Exhale, lower the left arm, reach the right arm up, and come into that standing crescent. I'll turn toward you so you can see that. Standing crescent on this side. Press down through your outer right ankle to get that sensation of energy coming all the way up the right side of the body. Inhale, both arms come up and over. Exhale, forward fold. Always feel free to use those blocks to bring that mat or floor up to you in this forward fold. Now we're going to stay here for just another minute. Perhaps you can take hold of the elbows in a ragdoll position. Bring your weight slightly forward onto the balls of your feet. Soften your knees. So go ahead and just allow the knees to be soft. We don't want any undue strain on the lower back here. This ragdoll is definitely an inversion pose. You'll feel that pressure begin to move around the body as some of the blood goes into the upper part. Keep your breath going. Breathe into the lower back. Make sure that feels okay to you here. Maybe sway back and forth just a tiny bit. Just gently creating weight on one foot and then the other. Head should be completely neutral and soft. Your head is the ultimate counterweight here in this forward fold. All right, inhale, lift up. We're going to come back into that flat back. Exhale, gently fold. Inhale, once again, press all the way up. Arms up and overhead. Exhale, bring the hands down to heart center. Let's take a breath here in a standing neutral position, allowing everything to recalibrate. Go ahead now and bring your arms straight off the body. So we're reaching the fingers forward. Step back so you can see my light is a little crazy there. Hands are straight forward. And then we're going to bring both the elbows up like so. Okay, so the elbows are creating an L shape. Take the right elbow and cross it over the left, bringing both of the hands to center. Now, this may be as far as you want to go, or you feel like that you can go, and maybe the elbows are just crossed. If you can bring the backs of the hands together, then that's great too. If you can twist your hands around and maybe the palms come back together, use whatever variation works for you, of just breathing and opening up the shoulder blades here. Inhale, draw them up about an inch or two. Exhale, release down. Inhale, draw up with those eagle arms. Exhale, down. It's a very subtle movement. Inhale up, exhale down. Release the elbows and just roll them and shake them out. All right, let's bring them back and do the other side. So first the arms come directly off the shoulders, then the elbows. Bring them to center, and this time the left crosses over the right. Again, if you can just cross them or even come close to crossing them, stay there. Or bring the backs of the hands together, or decide if the hands can wrap around. Inhale, draw up. Exhale, down. You should feel a deep release in the scapula, the rhomboids, those upper back muscles. One more time, in, up. Exhale, down. Release them out, shake it out. In fact, let's just kind of give a gentle, just let the arms go loose. Loosey-goosey here. Get those fluids moving around. Roll them around if that feels good. All right, coming back to the front of the mat, pressing down. Inhale, the arms up and overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, half lift. Exhale and fold. Step back to downward facing dog. Once again, pressing those hips up. The head is loose. All of your strength is coming from the outside of those shoulders and shoulder blades. Nice deep breath here. Inhale, coming back to our tabletop position. And we're going to set up for half melting heart. So take your right elbow and you're going to place it underneath the right shoulder. Left hand is going to come out front, and we're going to begin to lower the head down. But as you do, you're walking those left fingers forward, 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 pulling that left arm as far forward as you can, and then eventually supporting your forehead down on the right forearm. Inhale here. Exhale, release. Feel a deep stretch now underneath the left shoulder, the left scapula, the left side of the ribs. Breathe into any tightness that you feel. Know that you're opening up the immunity system as you're stimulating all that lymphatic tissue underneath the arm. One more breath. Inhale, come back up, press that left hand underneath, come back up to tabletop, and we'll start on the other side. So we'll take the left elbow underneath the left shoulder. And again, if it doesn't feel good to go all the way down, just find your ease, find that place where you can find the stretch. You can see what we're aiming at, and whatever feels right in your body is where you need to go. So if you can pull the right fingers forward, eventually getting that nice stretch on the right side. Melting the heart down. It's kind of a little bitty mini inversion. Your head is a little bit lower than your heart here. Breathe deeply. And go ahead and bring that right hand, slide it back up and under. Coming back to tabletop. Check our time. Okay. From here, we're going to take the right knee and pivot the right, what am I saying? I can't even do right and left this morning. We'll do the right. Take the right knee and pivot the right knee out
right foot out to the right. So we're in a traditional tabletop. We're going to bring the foot out to the right. Then bring your weight and support into that right hand. We're going to reach the left leg down the mat. As we do, rotate the body toward the left, and then eventually raise that left arm. Boy, I can't get my rights and lefts right this morning. Reach those fingers high. Support yourself through the core. Breathe here, and maybe you can reach back. We opened up those shoulders pretty widely, so see if you have the space to open in the shoulders a little bit more. Exhale, reverse that rotation. Come back and back into our neutral tabletop again. Pivoting on the opposite knee, bring that left foot out to the left. Bring the right foot down as we extend the leg. Rotate the torso and draw the right fingers now up toward the ceiling. First creating whatever version feels good to you. Maybe the fingers are all the way up, maybe you're not all the way up. And then maybe see if you can open that right shoulder a little bit more and gaze up to the ceiling, since we opened those shoulders pretty widely with our stretches. Exhale, unwind, bring that right hand back down. Go ahead and open the knees widely. Let's press back and just enjoy a moment in child's pose. Release the tailbone straight down toward the mat. Breathe into the lower back. Find your ease. All right, rock forward once again, setting back up into tabletop. Now we're going to move into our last inverted pose. This one does take a little bit more shoulder strength. No, it's not shoulder span. But if this isn't your sweet spot because of shoulder issues or anything else, feel free to go back into a child's pose. If you want to take it slowly, we're going to move into dolphin. So come down first into a forearm, a table with forearms down on the mat. All right, so both forearms are down, fingers are reaching toward the front of the mat. From here, curl the toes. And then we're going to press the shoulders back. Before we lift up, press the shoulders back and engage the outsides of the shoulder blades. This is where I want your strength to come from, not from the shoulders and the neck connection. All right, so from here, you can begin to lift the knees off the mat and press the hips back toward the back of the mat, coming into dolphin. So the head is nice and neutral. I have no pressure whatsoever on my neck and shoulder connections. Head is nice and loose. I feel all the strength coming up the sides of the arms and the sides of the shoulder blades. Tip your hips up a little bit higher. See if you can press the thighs more toward the back of the mat. If this doesn't work for you and it's not your pose, then please come back down and take your breath in child's pose. Balasana is always, always available to you. One more breath here. And inhale, begin to come forward again, coming back down to the knees. And then we'll all meet in child's pose. And let's bring the arms behind us this time. Releasing down softly and just letting those arms be nice and soft. Drag the hands back up. We're going to swing the legs around and come down into our final postures. Just just go ahead and roll all the way down. Coming back into Apanasana for a moment. Let's hug the knees into the chest. Feel the spine release completely down on the mat. Now all the pressure is off. Gravity is holding you secure and rooted. Bring your feet up and either grab hold of the outside of the shins, ankles, or the outsides of the feet. Try to press down through the lower spine. So press that lumbar down onto the mat. And then just go ahead and rock back and forth, enjoying this happy baby. This not only feels good, but it stimulates the kidneys and adrenals. So once again, it really helps in a cleansing, as a cleansing mechanism for the body by stimulating all of that internal movement of fluids and tissue. Have a little smile. Be happy with this practice. Be happy with yourself. And then bring those feet back together. And from here, I'm gonna ask you to get that blanket again, that bolster blanket, whatever you have, that we started with the supported bridge. And you can bring that back up underneath the hips. So it's kind of where we started with bridge pose. But this time, we're going to extend the legs all the way up for a few moments of waterfall. So once the blanket is supported underneath the hips, you're first going to raise one foot. Press the sole up to the ceiling, just nice and straight. And then play with it, see if you're okay lifting both feet. And the trick here is to find a place where you can feel balanced and not be gripping through the legs. So you want to have the feet right up. Oh, I have mine were a little bit forward. I can see now on the mat. You want to pull them so that the feet and legs are stacked fairly straight up over the hips. So that way the bones are supporting you and you can let go with the muscles. Now, if this for some reason doesn't feel good, you can always do one leg, or you can come back down to that supported bridge if you like. But this is a really sweet way of doing. You can also do legs up the wall, so you can do this next to a wall at any time. And if you have a wall and you want to move there, feel free to do so, of course. Just try to release the legs. This is a really, really restful pose that actually takes a lot of the pressure and work off the heart. Come back to your breath. Just hold this for another minute if you're with me and you're doing it. I can't see everybody's legs, so I don't know if you're enjoying this or if you've taken another posture, but as always, just find what works for you. Honor your body. And then we'll go ahead and lower one leg. Gently lower the other. Press up. You can remove that blanket if you wish. And go ahead and extend the legs all the way down the mat. Releasing and softening the body. Moments here in Shavasana before we get back to our Sunday, before life comes rushing back to us. into that listening meditation where you're listening to the sound of your own breath. Of making each of these practices your own, and what I continue to preach, which is to please find your ease and get out of these practices what you need. I'm going to read you a quote from Shakti Gawain. We will discover the nature of our own particular genius when we stop trying to conform to our own or other people's models. When we learn to be ourselves, our natural channels will open. We will discover the nature of our own particular genius when we stop trying to conform to our own or other people's models. When we learn to be ourselves and allow our natural channels to open. Begin to invite your awareness back into your presence on the mat. Take a deeper breath, sending that prana to the body, waking up the mind. Maybe hug your knees into your chest. Offering yourself that moment of gratefulness. And then as you're ready, you can roll to one side or the other and join me in Sukhasana to close our practice. Take a moment to recalibrate, to let the body's homeostasis rebalance. Every time we move positions, remember to do that. Take a moment. And then let's inhale, drawing the arms up and overhead, lifting your energy. Exhale, bring the palms together, come down to Anjali Mudra and bow for a moment. find ease, grace, and love always in your practices and carry them forward through your life off the mat as well. Thank you so much for practicing this morning.